The Swedish deal is in London and we meet some of the PokerStars pros. A guy who broke through 5 years ago and has climbed really fast, recently winning over $5 million in a 200K tournament. His name is Sam Grafton. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really good.
Yeah, so is it good to... where do you live now, right now?
Actually, I live in the north of London, so it's really nice to be on home court advantage, I guess.
Yeah. So, when did you start to play poker on a more higher level?
So I used to say in 2009 I played for rent. I never liked to use the P word. I never used to like to say professional, but it was my main source of income. So I said, yeah, I play for rent. And so that was, I was, in many ways, it was the most serious it's been, because I was going from, I'd get enough to pay my rent and it would be a serious dent in my bankroll and I'd have to win again. And, I didn't have that much money behind to spare. If things had gone wrong, I would have had to do something completely different. And, I just came to love it. And I really realized, like, this is what I want to do with my time. I was, going into the little club where I played and enjoying it so much. And eventually I tried tournaments and got hooked on that. And, it's become what I do for the last 10 years. Because going into a game, you have to be kind of aware of that. I think I can beat this game enough. Sure.
To pay the rent. Was that the feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I took an internship and it was 3 days a week and I was going to have to get a job alongside it. I thought to myself, you know what, I think I can earn enough playing poker in the evenings to cover my rent. And then, of course, I was doing the internship in the day, but my mind was thinking of the hands I'd played the night before, checking on forums and thinking about, and the feeling I got going into the card room, it always felt like home. And so I knew this was, when the internship ended, I carried on playing cards and I've really never stopped.
So no other work since then?
No other work.
Like proper work, like
no.
daytime work?
No.
This is work too?
Yeah, of course I did a job for many years before that, in my 20s, on and off, different things. But no, it's been, I've earned my living through cards for the last 12 years. And yeah, I guess that's something to be proud of. It's not easy, and of course there's ups and downs, but it's been a really rich 10 years in which I've got to meet a lot of amazing people and of course visit a lot of amazing places.
I mean, there's plenty of poker pros that goes on and play the main events and so on, but there's a bit particular because it's just a selected few that goes up to play the really high rollers. Of
course.
Where was that breaking point for you where you realized that you got a chance, or did you get staked in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got to give some credit to some other people. I mean, I felt like I was playing really, really well. And actually, I went into playing the high rollers quite confidently. I played my first 50K, I can't think what year it was, maybe 2017. I played in Prague. And, so a couple of people who had a bit of money were like, look, you should play, we'll take a piece. And kind of they were poker players I respected. And the fact that they wanted action in me also sort of gave me the belief to go in to the room and sit down with the very, very best and play. And I almost had a little bit of overconfidence then. I think actually as time's gone on, I've come to really, really respect these guys that have done it for years. And, when I first went in, I thought, I can show these guys, I'm just as good as them. And actually, once you start to play, you realize the tenacity and the expertise and the desire to win that these guys have, the ones that have been there year after year. And, it's actually challenged my sort of self-confidence. But actually, there's a funny story I'll just tell you briefly. When I went into the room, I sort of psyched myself up, okay, brought in, a few minutes later, you're going to go and play the 50K, all right, listen to music. I went in, and open were there was a kind of quiet, you kind of walk over, it's a sort of off the side room. I went up to get my ticket, and open Kisakoglu shouted from one of the tables, he goes, Sam, the 1K is downstairs. And the whole room started laughing because, of course, it was my first time playing the 50K and I was more familiar from the 1Ks. And it sort of broke the ice, it was very in good spirits. But also maybe what people were thinking, like, oh, is he going to sit and play with us? And so it was a very funny moment. And Orban came over, gave me a big hug. And, we're great friends to this day.
Yeah, excellent. No, because if you look at the average high roller player, high stakes tournament player, usually they're not that social as you are. Is that an approach that you that suits you obviously, but also gives you an upper hand against some of the more quiet ones?
No, I don't think it's it's definitely not strategic on my part. I guess I just couldn't be any other way. To me, poker is sort of connected with the social. That's how I first got into it. You know, the games of cards I played in snooker halls, and then a little poker club off the Old Street roundabout. You know, bit of banter, a bit of fun, conversation was part of it. And I've always sort of taken that along with me. And actually, I think, you know, it's one way I've been lucky is the kind of scene has moved in my direction. There was a period a few years ago, I think people were imitating a style where they were very serious, very severe, a lot of staring. And actually, I think people have realized that if you're going to do this every day, having a little bit of fun, being a bit more relaxed at the table, doesn't really hurt your EV, and actually, you know, makes for a more welcoming atmosphere. And, you know, I think if you look at some of the top guys now, they are actually a little bit more warm, a bit more into conversation at the table, certainly in the early levels. Of course, when you're at a big final table on a bubble or something like that, everyone needs to be focused, but there's room for chat and even a tiny bit of fun as well.
Yeah, have you learned to, obviously have to use that in a good way for you to gain advantages, besides being social, if you know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, the advantages are just, you know, that I've made a lot of good friends over the years as well. And
I mean, at the poker table, if you can use that social...
I mean, I try to not be, you know, I try to keep the two things separate, really. Like my energy or you know, I don't like speak to people in order to gain information about like their background. Obviously, things have sort of changed anyway, where I have a kind of strategy that I'm going in with, and it doesn't really matter to me too much whether this guy, you know, is a mid-stakes pro or whatever. You know, I don't really use it in a sharky way, I guess would be the way that we would describe it. But of course, I've benefited from talking both. You know, led to me doing commentary and having opportunities, and you know, and getting to know people. Like being sociable in this world does lead to all sorts of exciting things. But it's not really part of my strategy at the table, where I'm really focused on sort of theoretical approach is my kind of way in.
Yeah. I mean, an interesting expression might be that is it difficult to keep your feet on the ground and remain based on the ground as other people when playing these higher.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. I think like getting the balance right between having fun at the table and also like, you know, now it comes to you and you've got a close decision and got to be focused or paying attention to what others doing. That is a balance, which I've not always got right. I mean, it's the same with sociability in the evening, like wanting to go out and have a few beers and, you know, like a lot of people in town, I'm excited to see people and go drinking and such like, and getting that balance with being a professional where actually you need to keep your energy levels up all day and be focused and can't be playing these very high stakes tournaments with a hangover. So getting that lifestyle element of it right is a challenge and is more challenging perhaps to me than it is to others, but hopefully I'm beginning to find the right balance.
Yeah, obviously you're an excellent tournament player. I guess you played quite a few cash games as well. Do you still enjoy playing cash games at all, or is it strictly tournaments?
Oh yeah, I mean, I play a decent amount of Zoom online. I'm not a strong cash game player by any means, but sometimes it's nice to scratch the itch. Sometimes I want to play an online session, but I don't want to lock myself in for 6 or 7 hours, or I know I've got an obligation a little bit later in the day. So I do like to play cash games. And also, of course, I as I said, I mean, many people don't know this about me, but I started with live cash games. So sometimes, again, I want to go out in London, I want to feel the cards, or I've been out for dinner with someone and there's someone who's got a job and quite reasonably want to go home at midnight, but I want to carry on being social and I'll pop to the Hippodrome and play cards there. So I do like to play cash games, but of course, you know, tournaments is my main thing.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, excellent. Now, how does the future look for you, Sam? Are you going to continue to do what you do? I mean, just a month and a half ago, you had another step.
Yes.
Big leap.
Yes.
Winning those two, second and first in two tournaments. Yeah. What happened there?
Yeah, what a week that was. I mean, it all really came together for me. And you know, so privileged. This was my first ever buy-in over 100K. You know, my first 200K, and to just, you know, knock it out of the park first time was quite remarkable. And, you know, we'll probably, you know, this is a sort of once a career result. So that was absolutely amazing. Of course, you know, as anyone who's won a tournament knows the thrill of a first place finish is something, you know, truly like unique. It's not often you get the kind of rush that you get with winning a tournament in any career or in any walk of life. It really is. It's almost got like a sort of sporting thrill to it, even aside from the money. So, of course, you know, I was eager to play the EPT. It just makes you want to play more cards and sort of get close to that kind of dopamine hit again. So, you know, EPT London was always going to be the next step, and it's very exciting to, as I say, be playing in my hometown. I'm going to probably put in an appearance towards the end of WSOP Europe, and then we've got the Bahamas and the PSBC, which is a very, very exciting event, and I can't wait to do. So I'm really like, I don't need to plan further than the Bahamas. That's going to be a really, really exciting event. I can't wait to do that, and that's very much in, you know, that's sort of, in a way, like a little extension of the year, bookends the year with PSBC. Going to wrap things up, and then I'll make some plans. Maybe treat myself to a holiday even.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the part of being a poker player, just the enjoyment of living in the present.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of poker players doesn't like to plan too far ahead, right?
No, absolutely
Are you
not.
one of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, the tournament series kind of gives a shape to the year. We almost have like, you know, like when you're at school and the year is September through to August, you know, we have a kind of World Series in the summer, EPT Barcelona in August, EPT Prague in December. You have this kind of, and now of course PCA back in January, which has always been a fixture. Yeah, there's a sort of rhythm to the year and a shape of the year, and then you kind of fill in the gaps in and around it. And, you know, obviously I'm very privileged at the moment, you know, with things going so well. You know, a lot of these high roller stops are very exciting. The poker is very good at them. So I've got a lot, you know, I'm a bit greedy for experience and to go to stops at the moment. You know, but I'm an old man. There's got to be some breaks and take a little bit of time off. So maybe after PCA, I'll be slowing things down. But of course, I've said this before, and then another great stop comes along. You know, they put on a new EPT. Okay, well, I got to go to this.
Yeah, excellent. Sam, we're going to talk again, I hope,
yes,
in the future, and we go a bit deeper into stuff, maybe at the Swedish deal. Yeah. But good luck to you. And
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Great to see you. Thank you.